I never thought I'd be the kind of person writing about family drama on the internet. But here I am, shaking as I type this. Funny how life works. One minute you're transferring your life savings to help someone you love, and the next, you're blocked on every social media platform they have. My name is Yolanda, and I just spent $48,317.68 funding my sister's IVF journey. Every penny I had, plus some I didn't. You're the only one I can trust, Amelia had sobbed into my shoulder 6 months ago, mascara staining my white blouse. Clay left me right before the final round. Who does that? I held her that night as she fell apart in my living room, surrounded by half-empty wine glasses and crumpled tissues. Her husband had packed his bags and disappeared, leaving nothing but a note about needing space and reconsidering parenthood. I'll help you, I promised, stroking her hair. Whatever you need. The next morning, we met with her fertility specialist, Dr. Patterson. I'll never forget how Amelia's hands trembled as she explained her situation. Without your husband's insurance, Dr. Patterson started. I'll cover it, I interrupted. All of it. Amelia's head snapped up. Yolanda, no, that's too much. It's not. I pulled out my checkbook. How much for the next round? That became our routine. Every appointment, every procedure, every medication, I wrote the checks. I liquidated my investment portfolio, took out a personal loan, even sold my car for a cheaper model. Mia, my best friend, thought I was crazy. You need to protect yourself, she warned over coffee. Get everything in writing. I laughed it off. She's my sister, Mia. We don't need paperwork. But Mia insisted, and thank God she did. She drew up loan documents, payment schedules, everything. Amelia signed them without hesitation, too focused on the treatments to care. Once I'm working again, I'll pay you back every cent, she promised, hugging me after each signing. You're going to be the best aunt ever. The day we got the positive pregnancy test, Amelia screamed so loud the nurse dropped her clipboard. We jumped up and down in that sterile office like teenagers, crying and laughing. I couldn't have done this without you, Amelia whispered, clutching my hands. You're going to be there for everything. First ultrasound, gender reveal, birth, everything. That night, we stayed up late on my couch, planning nursery themes and scrolling through baby names. Amelia even suggested using my middle name as the baby's middle name. It felt perfect. Like everything I'd sacrificed had led to this moment. 3 days later, my text started going unanswered. Amelia? I called her on day 4. Straight to voicemail. By day 5, I noticed she'd unfriended me on Facebook, then Instagram, then everything. She's probably just overwhelmed, Mom said when I called her, but something in her voice seemed off. Give her space, Yolanda. This is a delicate time. I drove to Amelia's apartment that evening. Her car was there, lights on inside. I knocked. No answer. I could hear movement, voices. Amelia, please, just talk to me. The curtain twitched. I saw her silhouette, then nothing. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. Stop harassing your sister. She told us everything. Everything? What everything? Another buzz. We know you're trying to take over her pregnancy. She needs peace right now. Leave her alone. I stood there in the growing darkness, staring at my phone as reality hit me. Amelia had spun some story, turned me into the villain, and our parents, like always, believed her without question. My phone buzzed one final time. Mia, check your email, now. There it was, a group message from Amelia to our entire extended family. I only needed to read the first line. I need to protect my miracle baby from toxic influences. I sank to the ground outside her door, my legs giving out as I scrolled through paragraph after paragraph of lies. According to Amelia, I was obsessed, controlling, trying to name her baby, demanding to be in the delivery room, threatening her with stress during her precious pregnancy. Not a single mention of the money, the loans, the sacrifices. My phone buzzed again. Mia. Remember those documents we signed? Through my tears, I smiled. Because Mia was right. I had everything in writing, and my sister had no idea what was coming. The morning after discovering Amelia's email, my parents called for a family meeting. I knew exactly what was coming. I'd seen this pattern my entire life. Amelia creates chaos. Everyone rushes to protect her, and I'm somehow painted as the bad guy. I pulled into their driveway, gripping my steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Dad was already waiting on the porch, arms crossed. "Your mother's upset," he said as I approached. "No hello, no how are you. We need to fix this." The living room felt smaller than usual. Mom sat in her favorite armchair, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. Amelia wasn't there, of course. She never had to face these confrontations in person. "Sit down, Yolanda," Mom gestured to the couch. "We need to discuss your behavior." I almost laughed. "My behavior?" "Amelia called me crying last night," Mom's voice cracked. "She said you're demanding to name her baby, that you're redecorating her nursery without permission, that you're telling everyone you'll be the baby's second mother." "None of that is true," I said quietly. "None of it." Dad shifted uncomfortably. "She showed us the texts." "What texts?" "The ones where you threatened to take her to court if she didn't let you be in the delivery room." This time I did laugh, pulling out my phone. "Show me these texts. Right now." Mom looked away. She deleted them. She was too upset to keep seeing them. How convenient. I opened my message thread with Amelia. Here's our actual last conversation. 3 days ago, I asked if she wanted to grab lunch. She never responded. Before that, we were discussing nursery colors. That's it. "You're making her pregnancy all about you," Mom suddenly burst out. "This is her miracle baby, her moment. Why can't you just be happy for her?" The words hit like a slap. I stood up, hands shaking. Happy for her? I made this happen for her. I paid for everything. "She said you offered," Dad interjected. "She said it was a gift." My phone buzzed. Mia was calling. I put her on speaker. "You're with them?" she asked. "Yes." "Perfect timing. I just emailed you the scanned copies of everything. Share them now." Mom's face tightened. "What copies?" I pulled out my iPad, opening my email. Every loan document, every payment record, every single dollar I spent making Amelia's miracle possible. "Loans?" Dad's voice wavered. "What loans?" I turned the screen toward them. $48,317.68. All documented, all signed by Amelia, all legally binding. The color drained from Mom's face as she scrolled through the PDFs. Payment schedules, repayment terms, Amelia's signature on every page. These could be fake," she whispered. Mia's voice crackled through the speaker. "I'm a lawyer, Mrs. Mitchell. I personally notarized every document. Would you like me to share the video recordings of the signings?" Silence filled the room. Dad sat heavily on the couch. "Why didn't Amelia tell us?" he muttered. "Because she never intended to pay me back," I said, my voice breaking. "She got what she wanted, and now she's trying to push me out completely." Mom started crying again, but this time there was anger in her tears. "You're going to sue your pregnant sister? Your own blood?" "I haven't decided what I'm going to do," I replied, gathering my things. "But I want you both to think about something. While you're sitting here accusing me of being jealous and toxic, your precious Amelia is the one spreading lies, the one hiding truth, the one who took everything I had and threw me away." "She's pregnant," Mom pleaded. "She's emotional, hormonal. Stop making excuses for her," I shouted, finally snapping. "For once in your lives, stop protecting her from consequences." My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. "Your sister is devastated. How dare you show those private documents to your parents? You've ruined everything." I recognized Joanna's number. our family friend and Amelia's closest confidant. Of course, Amelia was already spinning this. I have to go, I said, heading for the door. But remember, I have proof of everything, every single thing. Dad called after me. Yolanda, wait, we can figure this out. I turned back one last time. No, Dad, I'm done figuring things out for Amelia. She wanted me gone? Fine, but she's about to learn that actions have consequences. As I drove away, my phone kept buzzing with messages from family members. I didn't need to read them to know what they said. The war had begun, and Amelia had fired the first shot. But she forgot one thing. I had the receipts, all of them, and I was done being the silent sister. Mia insisted we do this properly. If we're going to confront her, let's do it somewhere public, somewhere she can't twist the narrative. That's how we ended up at Salvatore's, the Italian restaurant where our family celebrated every major occasion. I reserved the private dining room, the same one where we toasted Amelia's wedding to Clay 3 years ago. Amelia arrived first, wearing a flowing maternity dress despite barely showing. Mom and Dad followed minutes later. I walked in with Mia, my manila folder clutched like a shield. Really? Amelia scoffed, eyeing Mia. You brought your attack dog lawyer? Mia smiled professionally. I'm here as a witness, Amelia. Nothing more. The waiter hadn't even finished pouring water when Amelia started. I can't believe you're doing this to me. To my baby. Doing what exactly? I asked, keeping my voice steady. Expecting you to honor our agreement? Agreement? She laughed sharply. You offered to help me. You said you wanted to be there for me. I opened my folder. Yes, I did. And you signed these documents agreeing to repay me once you were employed again. I was emotional. You took advantage. Stop. I slid the first document across the table. This is from the first consultation. You were perfectly clear-headed. Here's your signature, acknowledging the loan terms. Mom tried to intervene. Girls, please. And this, I continued, sliding another paper forward, is from 3 weeks later. Another clear acknowledgement of debt. And this one? The day before your successful implantation. Amelia's face flushed. Those were just formalities. You're my sister. Exactly. I'm your sister, who emptied her savings, sold her car, and took out personal loans to help you. And how did you repay me? By blocking me everywhere and spreading lies. You told everyone I was trying to steal your baby's name, that I was redecorating your nursery without permission, that I was threatening you. Dad cleared his throat. Amelia, is that true? Did you make those things up? Her lower lip trembled. Right on cue, the tears started. You don't understand. She was being so controlling, always there, always hovering. Because I cared, my voice cracked, because I sacrificed everything to help you. Mia quietly placed another document on the table. This is the total amount, $48,317.68. According to the signed agreements, repayment was to begin within 90 days of successful pregnancy confirmation. I'm not working, Amelia protested. I can't possibly. You started a mommy blog last week, I cut in. Already got 3 sponsorship deals. I saw the post before you blocked me. The color drained from her face. Plus, I continued, that new boyfriend of yours, Brody, he moved in pretty quick after Clay left. Funny how you could afford that nursery renovation right after he arrived, Mom gasped. You're renovating already? Amelia's tears dried instantly. You've been stalking me? Joanna talks a lot, I shrugged, especially after 2 glasses of wine. This is harassment. She stood up, hands protectively over her barely there bump. I won't sit here and let you stress out my miracle baby. Sit down, Mia said firmly, or the next conversation will be with the process server. Amelia slowly sank back into her chair. Here's what's going to happen, I said, pulling out one final document. You have 90 days to begin repayment. As originally agreed, $500 monthly minimum. Otherwise, We proceed with legal action. You wouldn't dare, she whispered. Try me. Mom started crying. Please, girls, we can work this out as a family. Family? I laughed bitterly. Amelia destroyed that when she decided to paint me as some crazy, obsessed sister, when she turned all of you against me without a second thought. I was protecting my baby. From what? From the person who made its existence possible? The silence that followed was deafening. Dad stared at his plate. Mom dabbed her eyes. Amelia's face had turned to stone. Fine, she finally said. I'll pay you back. Happy now? No, I replied honestly. I'm not happy. I'm heartbroken. And you know what the worst part is? I would have given you every cent freely if you just kept your promise. If you'd let me be part of this journey instead of throwing me away. I stood up, gathering my documents. You have 90 days, Amelia. Don't make me come collecting. As Mia and I walked out, I heard Amelia's voice, cold and clear. You've ruined everything. I turned back one last time. No, sister. You did that all by yourself. My phone was already buzzing with messages as we left the restaurant. The family grapevine would be burning up tonight. But for the first time since this all began, I didn't care. Let them talk. I had the truth. And more importantly, I had the receipts. The social media storm hit faster than I expected. Within hours of our dinner at Salvatore's, my phone exploded with notifications. Joanna, ever the town crier, had posted a carefully crafted version of events on Facebook. Praying for my dear friend during this difficult time. Some people just can't handle when others are blessed with miracles. Farner pregnancy journey, Yandra, family drama. The comments poured in. Who would sue their own pregnant sister? Money over family? Disgusting. Some people are just jealous they can't have their own kids. That last one stung particularly hard. Nobody except Mia knew about my own infertility diagnosis years ago. The real reason I wanted to help Amelia so badly. My phone rang. It was my cousin Rachel. How could you? She demanded before I could even say hello. Amelia's having panic attacks. Her blood pressure is through the roof. Did she tell you about the money she owes me? She said you offered to help. Out of love. I hung up and opened my laptop. If Amelia wanted to play the social media game, I could play too. I created a throwaway Reddit account and started typing A for asking my sister to repay the $48K I loaned her for IVF after she cut me off completely. I laid out everything. The loans, the documents, the lies, the blocking. Within minutes, comments flooded in. TA, she used you. Get a lawyer ASAP. Your sister sounds like a narcissist? The post exploded. Within hours, it hit the front page. Thousands of comments, hundreds of awards. People began sharing screenshots on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. My phone buzzed again. A text from Amelia. Take that post down now. I replied with a screenshot of her signature on one of the loan documents. She called immediately. I put her on speaker so Mia, who was with me, could hear. You're destroying my life, Amelia screamed. Do you know what people are saying about me? The truth hurts, doesn't it? I'm being harassed. People are sending me horrible messages. I didn't identify you in the post, I said calmly. You did that yourself by reacting. My sponsorships are pulling out. My mommy blog is tanking. Mia leaned toward the phone. Perhaps you should have thought about that before defaulting on a legally binding agreement. Stay out of this, Amelia snapped. This is between me and my sister. No, I cut in. You made it public when you started spreading lies about me, when you turned our family against me, when you posted about your toxic sister on Instagram. I'm pregnant. I'm hormonal. You're stressing out my baby. The baby you're carrying thanks to my money? Silence. Then my phone pinged with a new notification. Joanna had posted again. Just watched my best friend break down in tears because of online bullying. Shame on anyone who would attack a pregnant woman. Stop the hate. I was about to respond when another message popped up. An email from an unfamiliar address. Yolanda, we need to talk. It's about Amelia and the IVF. There's something you should know. Clay. My hands started shaking. Clay, Amelia's ex-husband, who'd vanished right before the final treatment, who'd supposedly abandoned her dreams of motherhood. What is it? Mia asked, seeing my expression. I showed her the email. Reply, she said immediately. This could change everything. I typed back a quick response. When and where? His reply came within minutes. Tomorrow, noon. The coffee shop on 5th. There's more to this story than you know. My phone was still blowing up with family messages. Aunt Susan calling me heartless. Uncle Rob demanding I fix this mess. Cousins choosing sides. Mom sending guilt-trip texts about family loyalty. But none of that mattered now, because Clay knew something. Something big enough to make him break his months-long silence. I turned to Mia. Want to meet my ex-brother-in-law for coffee tomorrow? She grinned. Wouldn't miss it for the world. My phone pinged one final time. A DM from Brody, Amelia's new boyfriend. You have no idea what you've started. Back off now, or else. I screenshot it and sent it to Mia. Add witness intimidation to the legal file, I said quietly. The social media war could rage on. Let Amelia play victim. Let Joanna spread her poison. Let the family choose sides. Because tomorrow at noon, I had a feeling the real truth would finally come out. And something told me Amelia wouldn't be able to spin her way out of this one. Clay looked exactly the same as he had 6 months ago. Tall, tired, and carrying the weight of something heavy on his shoulders. He was already waiting when Mia and I arrived at the coffee shop, 2 manila folders sitting on the table in front of him. Thanks for meeting me, he said, standing to greet us. You must be Mia? The lawyer, she confirmed, shaking his hand. Should I have brought my recorder? Actually, yes. He gestured to the folders. You're going to want to document this. The barista had barely set down our coffees when Clay opened the first folder. Amelia never told me she was continuing the IVF, he said quietly. I found out yesterday when my lawyer was doing routine checks on our joint accounts from the separation. I frowned. But you left her, right before the final treatment. He laughed bitterly. Is that what she told you? I left because I caught her stealing money from my parents' retirement account. She'd already drained $30,000 for previous IVF rounds without telling me. My hands started shaking. What? We agreed to stop treatments, take a break, work on our marriage. Then I discovered the theft, confronted her, and she. He swallowed hard. She said she'd tell everyone I'd been abusing her if I didn't let her continue. Mia was already recording. Do you have proof of these allegations? He opened the second folder. Bank statements, text messages, and this, the fertility clinic's records showing she used our stored embryos without my consent. My coffee went cold as he laid out the evidence. Screenshots of Amelia's threats, bank records showing the theft, and most damning, paperwork from the clinic with Clay's forged signature authorizing the use of their frozen embryos. She committed fraud, Mia said flatly. Multiple counts. The baby she's carrying, Clay's voice cracked. That's technically my child, too. Those were my embryos. She had no right. I felt the room spinning. Does she know you know? Not yet. My lawyer is filing papers tomorrow. We're seeking emergency intervention, either shared custody or... He hesitated. Or what? Or termination of the pregnancy, given the fraudulent conception. The words hung heavy in the air. Mia was furiously taking notes. There's more, Clay continued. That new boyfriend of hers, Brody, he's got warrants in 3 states for financial fraud, specifically targeting pregnant women. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Amelia's in the hospital. Stress-induced complications. I hope you're happy. I showed it to Clay. Classic Amelia, he sighed. When backed into a corner, she always finds a way to be the victim. She used me, I whispered. Just like she used you. Like she's probably letting Brody use her now. The money you gave her, Clay leaned forward. How much exactly? I told him. He nodded grimly. Add your claim to my lawsuit. We can prove pattern of behavior, financial exploitation, emotional manipulation. My phone buzzed again. Joanna, Amelia's baby is in distress because of you. They're monitoring her overnight. Don't respond, Mia advised. Let her dig her hole deeper. Clay pulled out one final document. There's something else you should know. The timing of when she used our embryos, it overlaps with when Brody moved in. Meaning she's letting him believe he's the father. He's been posting about his baby online. That's fraud too. Just then, my phone lit up with a call from Amelia herself. I put it on speaker. The hospital wants my complete medical history, she said, her voice small, including how the baby was conceived. Interesting timing, I replied coldly. Yolanda, please, I can explain everything. To me? I cut in. Or to Clay? Silence. Then, what? He's sitting right here, Amelia, with proof you stole his embryos, forged his signature, committed fraud. The sound of something dropping. Muffled voices in the background. You don't understand, she whispered. I needed. Save it for the judge, Clay said loudly enough for her to hear. She hung up. Within minutes, my phone exploded with notifications. Amelia had gone live on Instagram from her hospital bed, crying about being attacked during her high-risk pregnancy. Let her perform, Mia said, gathering the documents. The truth is going to hit harder than any social media sympathy campaign. As we left the coffee shop, Clay touched my arm. I'm sorry, he said. I should have warned you about her years ago, about what she's capable of. I thought about all the money, the lies, the manipulation. No, I replied. She needed to show me herself. And now everyone else will see it too. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Brody to Clay, accidentally sent to me instead. Back off or the baby disappears. Your choice. Clay smiled grimly when I showed him. And there's our final piece of evidence. The game was changing. Amelia's house of cards was about to collapse, and I had a front row seat to watch it fall. The hospital waiting room felt like a battlefield. Mom and Dad sat huddled in one corner, while Brody paced aggressively near the vending machines. Clay and I occupied the opposite side, with Mia standing guard like a sentinel. She's asking for you, Dad said quietly, looking at me. The doctor said her blood pressure won't stabilize until she calms down. Convenient, I muttered. Brody stopped pacing. Listen, you need to drop this lawsuit nonsense. Look what it's doing to her. Funny, Clay spoke up. I didn't know you were so invested in a baby that isn't yours. The color drained from Brody's face. What did you say? You heard me. Those were my embryos, stolen and implanted without consent. Want to explain to everyone why you've been posting about your baby on social media? Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Amelia told us Brody was the father. Amelia tells a lot of things, I said, pulling out my phone. Like how she told her Instagram followers that Brody's the CEO of a tech startup. Want to tell them about those fraud warrants instead? Brody lunged forward, but Clay was faster, stepping between us. Touch her, Clay warned, and assault charges will be the least of your problems. A nurse appeared in the doorway. Family of Amelia? We all turned. She's stabilized, but she's requesting her sister. Only her sister. I looked at Mia, who nodded and hit record on her phone. Amelia lay in the hospital bed, monitors beeping steadily around her. Her makeup was perfectly smeared, the same technique she'd used since high school to look tragically beautiful while crying. Come to finish destroying my life? She asked weakly. No, you're doing a pretty good job of that yourself. She flinched. I'm your sister. Exactly. Which made your betrayal even worse. I didn't betray you. She trailed off, looking away. I needed space. Space? I laughed. You needed space so badly you had to lie to our entire family? Turn them against me? Block me everywhere? You don't understand what it's like, she burst out. Everyone watching, judging, expecting this perfect pregnancy story. So you created one with my money and Clay's embryos? Her eyes widened. He told you? He showed me everything. The forged documents, the theft from his parents, the threats. The monitors started beeping faster. I had no choice, she whispered. The treatments weren't working. Clay wanted to stop, but I saw those embryos just sitting there. You had every choice. You chose to steal, to lie, to manipulate everyone around you. And what about Brody? I continued. How long before he empties your accounts and disappears? She grabbed my arm. Don't tell him about the embryos. Please. He thinks he's the father. Like you let Clay's parents think they were going to be grandparents while you stole their retirement? Tears rolled down her cheeks. I'll pay you back. I promise. Just drop everything. Please. It's too late. Clay's lawyers are already moving forward, and I'm joining the lawsuit. The door opened. Brody walked in, followed closely by Clay. Baby! Brody rushed to her side. Are you okay? Is our little miracle... Your miracle? Clay interrupted. Want to explain how that works with my embryos? Brody froze. Amelia's monitor started beeping frantically. Everyone out! A nurse rushed in. Her blood pressure is spiking. In the hallway, Brody grabbed his jacket. I need some air. Running already? I called after him. Before or after you clean out her bank accounts? He practically sprinted to the elevator. Mom appeared looking shell-shocked. The doctors want to keep her overnight. For observation. Good, Clay said. She can get served with the papers first thing tomorrow. Please, Mom begged. She's still carrying a baby. Your baby. A baby she stole, he corrected. After stealing from my family? Dad joined us, looking older than I'd ever seen him. How did we not see this coming? Because you never wanted to see it, I answered. You always believed her stories, her excuses, her lies. My phone buzzed. A text from Mia. Private investigator confirmed it. Brody's cleaned out 3 of Amelia's accounts already. I showed it to my parents. Mom sank into a chair. What have we done? What has she done? She's done exactly what she's always done, I said quietly. Used people until they had nothing left to give. Only this time, she's not getting away with it. Through the hospital room window, I could see Amelia crying into her hands. For the first time in my life, I felt nothing. No guilt, no sympathy, no obligation to fix her mess. She'd made her choices. Now she had to live with them. The baby shower invitation arrived 3 weeks after the hospital incident. Pink and gold with flowing script. Join us in celebrating Amelia's miracle. I stared at it for a full minute before bursting into laughter. She can't be serious, Mia said, reading over my shoulder. After everything? My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. Please come. She wants to make things right. Before I could respond, another invitation arrived, this time by email. A disinvitation. Due to the high-risk nature of my pregnancy and recent stress-induced complications, I must limit attendance to positive, supporting individuals only. I forwarded it to Clay's lawyer. The shower was scheduled for Saturday at the country club. I didn't plan to go, but I did send a gift, a beautifully wrapped frame containing copies of every loan document with a note. Since you're celebrating miracles, here's how this one happened. That morning, my Reddit post mysteriously resurfaced, gaining traction again. Someone had connected it to Amelia's mommy blog and her perfectly curated Instagram pregnancy journey. The internet did what it does best. It dug. Your sister's trending, Mia announced, scrolling through her phone. People found her old posts about Brody being the father. They're comparing dates with Clay's lawsuit details. My phone lit up with a call from Joanna. "How dare you?" she screeched. "Only 8 people showed up." 8! She spent thousands on this shower. "With whose money?" I asked calmly. "Brody's already drained 3 of her accounts. Did she use the 4th for the party?" Silence. "Did she tell you he's gone? Disappeared last week with everything he could get his hands on?" She said he's on a business trip," I laughed. "Check his warrant records. I'm sure he is." "The sponsors pulled out," Joanna continued, her voice smaller. "All of them. Her mommy blog partnership deals. Truth hurts, doesn't it?" "She opened your gift," Joanna said suddenly, "in front of everyone. When she saw what it was, Yolanda," she fainted. "Real faint or Amelia faint?" "Don't be cruel. She's carrying your niece." "No," I corrected. "She's carrying Clay's stolen child, and karma's finally catching up." I hung up as another text came through. From Clay. "She's trying to leave the state. My lawyer caught her booking flights to Mexico." My hands shook as I forwarded this to Mia. "That's not happening," Mia replied immediately. "I'm filing an emergency motion right now." Within hours, Amelia's passport was flagged. She couldn't leave the country with Clay's baby, their baby, conceived through fraud. By evening, the shower drama had exploded online. Someone had posted photos of the nearly empty party room, expensive decorations mocking the absence of guests. Amelia's carefully constructed social media facade was crumbling. Mom called, sobbing. "She's destroying herself," she cried. "Please, can't you stop this?" "Stop what? The consequences of her actions? She's your sister." "She stopped being my sister the moment she decided to use me, steal from Clay, and lie to everyone. Where was this concern when she was spreading lies about me? We didn't know, because you never wanted to know. You never questioned her stories, her excuses, her manipulations. Well, now everyone knows, and she did that to herself." Later that night, Amelia herself called. I almost didn't answer. "The frame was a nice touch," she said, her voice hollow. "Really classy. About as classy as stealing embryos and faking paternity. I had to protect my miracle." "Stop calling it that," I snapped. "It's not a miracle. It's fraud, theft, manipulation. And now everyone knows." She started crying. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing. Not anymore. I just want you to face what you've done. All of it." "I'm your sister," she whispered. "No," I replied. "You're just someone who used to be my sister. Someone who took everything I had and threw me away. Someone who's finally facing consequences." "I'll pay you back," she offered desperately. Once the baby what? Once you figure out how to explain why Brody vanished with your money? Once you deal with Clay's custody suit? Once you explain to your followers why you lied about everything?" Silence. "Goodbye, Amelia." As I hung up, a notification popped up. Someone had leaked the court documents from Clay's lawsuit. The full story was out now, spreading across social media like wildfire. Amelia's carefully constructed house of cards wasn't just falling. It had burned to the ground, and I felt nothing but relief watching the ashes scatter. The delivery room notification came through Mia, not family. As Clay's lawyer, she'd been alerted when Amelia checked into the hospital. I sat in my office, staring at the message, feeling nothing but a strange sense of completion. My phone lit up. "Mom, she's asking for you," she said without preamble. "The doctors are concerned about complications. Please, Yolanda." "No, but my presence won't help her blood pressure this time." I ended the call and turned back to my work. The settlement papers from Clay's lawsuit sat on my desk, finally signed after Amelia's attempts to flee failed. My portion of the judgment would be paid through the sale of her car and designer collection. My phone buzzed again. Clay. "I'm at the hospital," he said. "My lawyer's here too. We need to establish paternity immediately." "How is she?" "Struggling." "But you know Amelia. Even in labor, she's trying to control the narrative, keeps talking about her single mom journey to the nurses. I almost laughed. Did she mention the part where she stole the baby she's delivering? That's coming out today. Once paternity is confirmed, we go public with everything. Another call beeped through. Joanna. Don't you dare ignore this, she hissed when I answered. Your sister is in distress. After everything I've done, I cut her off. Let's talk about everything she did. Want to start with the theft, the fraud, or how about you? How many lies did you help spread? Silence. That's what I thought. Back at my desk, I opened my laptop and clicked the folder labeled Receipts. Every document, every text, every piece of evidence we'd gathered. I'd been saving them for this moment. My phone lit up with a text from Dad. Baby girl born, healthy, please come. I didn't respond. Instead, I hit publish on the blog post I'd prepared weeks ago. The true cost of a miracle, a story of theft, fraud, and family. Every detail, every document, every betrayal, laid bare for the world to see. Within minutes, my phone exploded with notifications. You heartless witch, Joanna texted. She just gave birth. Perfect timing, Mia replied when I forwarded her the message. She can't run now. I gathered my things and left the office, not heading to the hospital, but to my favorite coffee shop, the one where Clay had revealed the truth about the embryos, where everything had started to unravel. The barista had just handed me my drink when Mom called again. Clay's lawyers are here, she said, her voice shaking. They're demanding immediate DNA testing. And they found out about Brody. He's been arrested in Florida. Something about investment fraud. Karma, I said simply. The baby, she looks just like Clay. Amelia's hysterical. The doctors had to sedate her. I sipped my coffee. Not my problem anymore. When did you become so cold? When did you become so blind? I countered. She stole a baby, Mom. Through fraud. After stealing my money and Clay's parents' retirement. This isn't about being cold. This is about justice. My phone pinged a news alert. Local stations were picking up the story. Fertility fraud scandal rocks local family. Perfect. Dad tried next. She named the baby after you, middle name. Another manipulation, I replied. Tell her to enjoy it while she can. Clay's filing for full custody. The texts and calls kept coming. Family members choosing sides, friends expressing shock, strangers offering support. Through it all, I sat in that coffee shop, watching my sister's carefully constructed world collapse through the screen of my phone. Finally, one last message came through, from Amelia herself, likely through Mom's phone. I'm sorry for everything. Please come meet your niece. I typed back, she's not my niece. She's Clay's daughter, a child you stole, and now everyone knows it. I blocked the number and closed my laptop. Outside, the sun was setting on what felt like the final chapter of a very long story. My phone buzzed one last time. Mia. DNA results confirmed. Clay's filing emergency custody papers now. It's over. And it was. Not with a dramatic confrontation or tearful reconciliation, but with truth, justice, consequences. I walked out of the coffee shop into the cool evening air, feeling lighter than I had in months. Some people say blood is thicker than water, but justice? Justice is thicker than both. And sometimes the happiest endings aren't about forgiveness. They're about freedom.